Ladies and gentlemen, wrestling fans across the globe, gather around the squared circle of truth, because tonight we're talking about a name that has thundered through arenas for decades, a name that once sent chills down the spines of opponents with just 2 words, "You're next." That's right, Bill Goldberg. The man who once stormed through WCW like a wrecking ball. The man who made his WWE entrances with sparks, smoke, and the kind of intensity that could melt steel. The man who redefined what dominance looked like inside that ring. But tonight, the conversation isn't about his undefeated streak. It isn't about his legendary battles with the likes of The Rock, Brock Lesnar, or Triple H. It's about what comes after the glory. It's about the next chapter. Or perhaps, the chapter that might never be written. You see, Goldberg recently stepped out of a WWE ring, possibly for the last time. And he did it after going toe-to-toe with Gunther, the ring general, for the World Heavyweight Championship on Saturday night's main event. It was a match that could have been the final exclamation point on a storied career. But Gunther stood tall, and Goldberg walked away. Now, whispers started filling the wrestling world. Could Goldberg take his talents to AEW? Could we see him march down the ramp on Dynamite, ready to spear his way into a brand new audience? Well, not so fast. Because this weekend, Peter Rosenberg, the voice you've heard on TV, radio, and inside WWE programming, dropped a verbal sledgehammer of reality. And his message was clear: AEW is not signing Goldberg. Why? 2 reasons. First, Rosenberg didn't sugarcoat it. He said, number 1, he doesn't look good anymore. A blunt statement. A reality check that stings harder than a chair shot to the head. Second, Rosenberg pointed to something even more dangerous than time itself. Ego. He explained that AEW has been moving in the right direction recently. They've been building momentum. They've been crafting stories, growing talent, and creating moments that feel fresh. And in Rosenberg's words, when you start throwing in ego clashes, when the creative team has to decide whose pride they're going to feed, that's when the storytelling suffers. And with Goldberg, Rosenberg says, we've seen that ego get in the way. We've seen it affect the enjoyment of the product. We've seen moments that could have been magic, turn into something else entirely. But this story isn't just about Bill Goldberg the wrestler. It's also about Bill Goldberg the father. Because here's where it gets personal. WWE, in their own forward-thinking way, saw potential in Goldberg's son, Gage. They offered him an NIL deal, a chance to plant the seeds for a future in the business. But Goldberg slammed on the brakes. When I found out how much they were going to give him, I put the brakes on that one, he admitted. And in his mind, it wasn't worth it. Not now, not like that. He didn't close the door forever. He even said WWE would be foolish not to keep Gage in their sights. But for now, the son's path is not in the same ring where his father once dominated. So where does that leave Goldberg? Not in WWE. Not in AEW. Not signing new deals. Not mentoring in the background. But standing at a crossroads. The crowd that once roared his name still remembers. The fans that once chanted, Goldberg, Goldberg, still feel the echo of the jackhammer. But time moves forward, and in the world of professional wrestling, no one is truly unstoppable forever. This isn't just a story about one man's career. It's about legacy. It's about knowing when to fight, and knowing when to step aside. And right now, the chapter of Goldberg in AEW is one that Peter Rosenberg says will never be written. Because the man who once told the world, "You're next," might just have to decide who's next for him.